In Pirkei Avot, chapter 5, there is a teaching by a rabbi named Ben Bagbag. Yep, that was really his name. The teaching in Hebrew is as follows. Hafoch ba v'hafoch ba dechola ba. In English, this is usually translated as, keep turning it around and around because everything is in it. The it to which Ben Bagbag is referring is Torah. But this statement can also apply to the Jewish prayer book. Whether we're talking about the high holidays Machzor or a Shabbat, festival, or weekday Siddur, the Jewish prayer book is filled with meaningful texts that enable us to connect with God, with Jewish tradition, and with other Jews around the world and throughout Jewish history. The Jewish prayer book provides abundant opportunities for each and every individual to find relevance and meaning. Every time we daven, a different blessing or prayer may capture our attention. And sometimes the very same prayer that we have been davening or chanting for years may speak to us in a different way. Rabbi Abraham Isaac HaKohen Kook, the first chief rabbi of pre-state Israel, taught Hayashan Yitchadash v'Hachadash Yitkadash. The old shall be renewed, and the new shall be made holy. Within the Jewish prayer book, be it a Machzor or a Siddur, there are many ancient texts, some of which have been recited by Jews for thousands of years. And there are also some prayers that were written more recently. Just as the newer prayers have the potential to become holy, so too do the older prayers have the potential to be viewed, appreciated, and experienced in new ways. As we begin this new year, 5781, with the spirit of tshuva, self-improvement, and renewal in the air, I would like to call your attention to two ancient blessings that are included in every single Jewish prayer book. Two blessings that I have been reciting for nearly 55 years. But over the past few months, these two blessings took on new meaning for me in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And by sharing this with you, I'm hoping that these blessings will become more meaningful for you as well. Baruch atah Hashem, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Praised are you, Hashem, our God, ruler of the universe, who gives sight to the blind. Baruch atah Hashem, Eloheinu melech haolam, Matir Asurim. Praised are you, Hashem, our God, ruler of the universe, who sets prisoners free from captivity. These two blessings are part of a larger set of 15 blessings known as Berchot HaShachar, the morning blessings. In reciting these blessings, we acknowledge, thank, and bless God for enabling us to make use of the physiological functions involved in waking up and getting ready in the morning. In Masechet Brachot 60b of the Babylonian Talmud, we learn that at one time the custom was to recite the blessing of Pokeach Ivrim, who gives sight to the blind, upon opening up one's eyes, and to recite the blessing Matir Asurim, who sets prisoners free from captivity, while stretching one's limbs upon awakening and preparing to get out of bed. In addition to viewing these blessings as referring to physical actions, we may also view them as having moral and ethical connotations. In fact, the two blessings that I will be focusing on in Rosh HaShanah echo some of the words of Psalm 146, in which God is described as one who sets captives free, gives sight to the blind, and raises those who are bowed down. As human beings who are created B'Tselem Elohim, in God's image, we are supposed to strive to emulate God's moral attributes. Just as God heals the blind and frees prisoners, so too must we commit ourselves to imitate God's ways. During this coronavirus pandemic, I began to understand, appreciate, and utter these two brachot in yet another way. In addition to the physical, and the moral, ethical meanings of these blessings, I began to discern a metaphorical aspect to them as well. Since I was unable to attend Morning Minyan in person for the first 4+ months of the pandemic, I davened at home and tried to mix it up a little by using different Sidurim with different translations and commentaries every day. In the Koren Aviv Sidur, there's a story that appears alongside the Matir Asurim blessing that adds this metaphorical dimension. Baruch atah Hashem, Matir Asurim. Praised are you, Hashem our God, ruler of the universe, who sets prisoners free from captivity. A little boy once found a cocoon of a butterfly. One day, a small opening appeared. The little boy sat and watched for hours as the butterfly struggled to squeeze itself through that tiny hole. Then, the butterfly stopped, as if it could go no further. So the little boy decided to help the butterfly. He took a tiny pair of scissors and snipped off the remaining bit of the cocoon. The butterfly emerged easily, but it had a swollen body and shriveled wings. The boy waited, expecting that at any moment the wings would expand to support the butterfly. But nothing happened. That butterfly spent the rest of its life dragging its swollen body around. It was never able to fly. In his haste and kindness to help the butterfly, the little boy failed to understand that the struggle that the butterfly had to go through to push through the small hole in the cocoon was nature's way of forcing the extra fluid from its body and strengthening its wings. Only by struggling through that tiny hole would the butterfly ever be ready for flight. Sometimes struggles are exactly what we need in our lives. If we didn't struggle, we would not have the strength to fly. The Matir Asurim blessing about freeing captives takes on an even deeper significance in our day and age. Like butterflies, many of us were confined in the cocoons of our homes when we were on lockdown or in self-quarantine during the first few months of the COVID outbreak. As the prevalence of the virus declined in the state of New Jersey, some people emerged from their cocoons sooner than others. There are still others who do not feel ready to emerge from their cocoons. With this in mind, think about how meaningful and inspiring this blessing can be to all of us as we continue to deal with this pandemic and our reintegration into society. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shabbat Shalom and L'Shana Tova Tikatevu.